Hello, family, friends. Thought maybe we'd look at this packet and hopefully get through half of them. I like this chart because this is about Grandpa Xavier and Grandma Martine. Grandpa Jack's parents, so my great-grandparents. As you can see, the very nice thing about this chart is how neat and tidy it is, and a lot of that has to do exactly with what we mentioned earlier, whereof the families of the Quebecois after the fall of Quebec and the conquest thereof of the French Canadian peoples, those whom suffered upon themselves to remain under the occupational dragoon forces there, as, for example, during the Battle of Quebec, ancestor Antoine Bouchard Père is said to have been in the woods hiding with his family. And this chart begins with his son, Antoine Bouchard Fille, having married Marie Jean Gagnon. And the Gagnon family is connected to the heartbeat of the Canadian nation, in so much as we have discussed and will again discuss Jacques Cartier and those familial ancestors related to he. Godfrey Bouchard, son of Antoine Bouchard, married Julie Desbiens. Their son was George Bouchard, and he married Athénée Athalie Saulnier, an Acadian name. Telsport Bouchard, the son of George Bouchard and Athénée Athalie Saulnier, married Artemis Gerard, the daughter of Lucrece Bouchard, the daughter of Marie-Louise Gerard, the daughter of Marie Modeste Madeleine Tremblay, all of that first French family heritage. Martine Simard is here listed as the daughter of Marie-Louise Pilote, whom noted genealogical sites have recorded as being an Algonquin or a Montagnais woman. Yet all agree that her mother was Marie-Anne Victory Gobiel, the daughter of Marie Charlotte Tremblay and Bartholomew Gobiel IV. Purely Quebecois. So one wonders, why is she listed as an Algonquin Montagnais? We are not dealing here, as we might, wherein we were talking of Francois Grenier, who, like the Langlois sisters, is in some places called a métis woman, or they be in some places called métis women born in France, and we've discussed that. Other places claim they are métis or First Nations women born in the New World in Quebec. Yet most of the records have them recorded in events within the early colonies. But here, Marie-Louise Pilote, the daughter of Quebecois, is called an Algonquin or a Montagnais woman. One might wonder if her and her husband, Jean-Baptiste Thomas Savard, the son of Laurent Thomas Savard and Marianne Lassard, had in some way been associated with those white Huron families that I was talking about a bit earlier. And although Algonquin and Montagnais are not Huron, perhaps here be a similar occasion where a purely European woman had accommodated herself onto the First Nations traditions. To learn more, we would have to go much deeper into those records of her birth and life, which are not here enlisted, this being such a simple chart. Otherwise, we shan't deal much more with this chart here at that time. Bless us. This does not in any way look like something which may easily be deciphered here for us. There's 4 lines mentioned, so on the verso are other lines that continue those 4 lines on the recto side of this paper. These 4 lines being of the children, the parents, the grandparents, and great-grandparents, or if you would, the grandchildren, the children, the parents and grandparents. Hereby, though, we see the majority of the grandparent stock be it born of no or unfamiliar circumstances. And there be many, we shan't name them. Stands out, though, the name of Francois Grenier, just talked about, whom married Noel Langlois. The son of Guillaume Langlois and Francois Ballinger. No, that's a different man. That's not a female. So we see here, Francois Grenier married Noel Langlois, the son of Guillaume Langlois of France. Their son, Jean Langlois, married Charlotte Francois Ballinger, the daughter of Francois Ballinger and Marie Guillaume. On this chart, we see the Savard family, which I had talked about previous to this chart, strongly represented here. It's quite a conflicting chart, for there's two lines that seemingly correspond on this page. Stands out Marin Boucher, married Perrine Millet. That being one of the more important early Quebecois families. The Boucher family having an old tradition in Quebec itself, the Percheron district as well. The Percherons were notable as being Perche was an area in France, Perche-Orne, France. It was a district more to the interior than along the coast, but I couldn't pinpoint it for you. I have seen it on maps when I've looked at it and done research into the area. Robert Giffard went to the White Horse Cheval Blanc Tavern there and met many people and other places thereof whom signed on as settlers. And they all went by ship too, some taking different ships, and some ships taking up to 2 months to get there, 80 days, under various conditions, including various harsh conditions. We have talked of the children of Bouchard, and here those children are shown in accordance to those included families of the Tremblay and the Simard and the Roussin and the Daudier and the Lavoie and other families. These families all coming into the New World in its infancy, but none of them it stands out truly as having suffered its birth pains, so much so as maybe Marin Boucher and Perrine Millet, whom were old stock Quebecois, first French family, as were Noël Langlois and Francois Grenier and Francois Ballinger and Marie Guillaume. But, you know, it doesn't matter, does it? Three or four generations. Oh, this is one of those, this differs very much from what I called a serial marriage, where the male or female principal is married once, twice, thrice, or more. We began this whole series discussing an Indian woman and her having 8 recorded relationships mostly producing children. This is a different thing altogether. It's definitely, what comes to mind would be blockchain, but that just comes to mind. I have been using another name for this kind of a relationship. I'll show you again. We can see here that the principal family is Joseph Savard and Catherine Delaire. Now, Joseph Savard had previously wed or been married to Josephte Morel, and Catherine Delaire had previously been wed to Joseph La Riviere, whom Joseph Lavoie. Catherine Delaire had previously been married to Joseph Lavoie. She had been a child bride of the age I'm sorry, she was no child bride. There are no child brides listed on this page. There is one child bride listed on this page. She be at the top as the wife of Noel Racine, the son of Marguerite Gravel, and Noel Racine, the son of Etienne Racine and Marguerite Martin, who are first French family. And he married the 16-year-old girl, the 15-year-old, she was aged Marie-Françoise Guillemot was age 15 when she married Noel Racine in 1700, and he was 10 years older than her, age 25. But for some reason, the marriage was annulled or put to an end, or perhaps he died, for she married next Joseph Lavoie, age 23, her being age 16. Again, another old family, first French family name, having the mother of Anne Godin. So that was a nice simple block to look forward to discussing the concept of child brides and these block marriage, these blockchain marriages. As discussed in other previous lectures, the phenomena of blockchain marriages such as this, and this is a simple one, also afterwards had occasion to arise amongst the Meacutetis families of the interior. But again, there's a great separation between the two. Noel Simard dit Lambret, age 24, married child bride Madeleine Racine, age 15. Madeleine Racine, the daughter of Marguerite Martin and Etienne Racine. One of the principal reasons why many of our young ancestresses married off at such an early age had a lot to do with a strict Catholic tradition. And in that there is some humor found for it not be talked of much elsewhere in other books recorded on the subject, but the folk were constrained not to sit about idle, but rather to be shaken the bed in the house, so to speak, as the idea was to people the land with a newfound colony of folk. And in so much, if your family or your daughters at early ages had not published any banns or announced any marriage contracts, even at early ages of 12, 13, and 14, for there were very, very few females. This is not to say that these guys were shaking these kids down to shake the bed springs, so to speak. Rather, it was in furtherance of God's commandment onto us, as given us by the example of the progenitors of the human race, mitochondrial Eve and Adam, son of God, whom were so commanded to people the earth. We will discuss the concept of the child bride more so at other times. Maybe not taking different stances on the issue, but approaching it from different angles or having different examples to further explain the phenomena in more detail, as we care not to allow our ancestors to be abused by any unspoken legalese yet to come about in the world as we are now accustomed it onto being. Also on this chart is ancestor Claude Le Petit Bouchard and his wife Louise Gagné. Her brother Ignace Gagné is mentioned on the other side as the husband first of Barbe Daudier and Louise Tremblay. And I see here a note mentioning Louis Tremblay, whom for some reason stands out. Him having sired of 3 of 4 marriages, mine own progenitors. So to me that is an interesting person to look at. Otherwise we won't get much more into it, as we've discussed a lot. I think the spirit of the law or the spirit of the letter are much superior to the written letter, for times change and spirits change. Perhaps me should have said for times change but spirits remain same. But I think it's not. I think spirits change. And albeit what be written changeth not, what is said of it, in accordance especially unto any spirit which doth change, also changeth. Now, here is a very simple blockchain relationship we're talking about. It be a very important block in that construct which our ancestors did so build in honor of God and God's commandments onto us as a peoples. This specific blockchain includes Robert Caron and Marie Crevette, age 34 and age 22. And Marie Crevette and Noel Langlois. It might be age 51 and age 61. And Noel Langlois and Francois Grenier. The Crevette name I mentioned being very important. It also having much to do with the Cartier family, and that being one of the very principal founding father families of our nation. Our nation not being made of dirt, which is steeped with the blood of our ancestors, nor rock, nor tree, nor building, but of a spirit. Also mentioned his ancestor Claude Bouchard de la Petite and his wife Louise Gagnier and her brother Ignace Gagnier, the Chamard family and the Dodier family. This is not much more to say of it, except it's another exploration of that concept of an extended block family involving multiple generations. It's discussion like this, which is why I call it a lecture. Here again we have another exploration or a different kind of a block relationship involved with multiple generations, whereof these different families are interrelated at different generations. But I won't talk more of that, nor of this chart, otherwise, and expect to, but I wish I had made more notation concerning townships and whatnot, because there's much to be said in accordance to that. Again, the name Noel Simard de Lambret and his wife Madeleine Racine stand out principally. Antoine Bouchard Père, as mentioned, I told you of him. Him whom, with his family, must hid in dark, cold woods during the conquest of Quebec. Other Quebec families are mentioned here. But the chart is otherwise not worth looking at, nor mentioning more so. What I like about this one, if you can read it, is a lot of very interesting Quebecois names are mentioned on this specific principal chart. Each name having associated with it stories associated with us as in regards to the founding of our family seed here in the New World then. We see here differing families interrelated as blockchains. Specifically stands out our Pierre Tremblay and Lausanne Anne Achon, the daughter of Hélène Renaud and Jean Achon. And the two children mentioned here are Madeleine Tremblay, the first wife, age 13, a child bride, of Nicolas Roussin, or Roussin, age 32 then, or age 36 when he wed her. Yes, okay, Nicolas Roussin, age 32, first wed Madeleine Paradis, or Paradise, age 14. Madeleine Paradis was the daughter of child bride Barbe Guillon, married age 15 to Pierre Paradis, the son of Michel Lepel, and Jacques Paradis, age 28. Barbe Guillon being the daughter of Mathurin Robin and Jean Guillon, both age 23 then, and first French family stock. So Barbe Guillon may be an older child of their lineage. It's not that Nicolas Roussin was a dirty old man, him first marrying and siring children with Marie Madeleine Roussin, with Madeleine Paradis, age 14, and then after 4 years later, marrying another child bride, Madeleine Tremblay, the daughter of Pierre Tremblay, and Lausanne Anne Achon. But, again, necessity. Not so much maybe in regards to that church order or that state order that the families must procreate to expand the colony and its presence in the New World as a commercial enterprise, but really with parents getting older and relying more on the elder sons and their wives, the younger daughters had to be married off, even at early ages. It was a necessity due to circumstance, the circumstance being dire. Gagnon, Couchon, Chapelier, and the Drouin families are all mentioned here. Robert Drouin being like Robert Giffard, also a very prominent man when in regards to the concept of the settlement of people in the New World. But here it may be as a commercial enterprise, where Canada very much commenced as a commercial enterprise with such as Saint-Des Associés. This is just a little look at two of the daughters of Noel Simard Dit-Lombret and Madeleine Racine. So it's nothing that stands out. Here we will again talk of the concept of child brides, as this page conveniences us to do so for the ages of the girls are mentioned, the ages being the ages they were married, and most relevant to me is something I'd forgotten long ago. And that mine ancestress, Louise Gagne, the daughter of Marie Michel and Louis Gagne, was a child bride of age 12 when she married her husband, Claude Bouchard dit Le Petit Claude, age 28. And I hope I not forget that again. Age 12 stands out as amongst the youngest of those child brides which mothered our Canadian identity in this newfound land, Canada. You see this not much, but it doth occur, and did so occur with Samuel de Champlain in his marriage to Helene Boulle, who was also age 12 when they were or did so sign the marriage contract. So I'm glad that came up. We see here that Antoine Bouchard Père, age 22, him the son of Claude Bouchard dit Le Petit, married Marie Madeleine Simard dit Lambret, a child bride of age 15, the daughter of Madeleine Racine, whom herself was a child bride of age 15 when she married Noel Simard dit Lambret, age 24. And Madeleine Racine, too, was born of a child bride. Marguerite Martin, age 14, the wife of Etienne Racine, age 31. And those two names, if you look them up, you will see that, Marguerite Martin is the daughter of Marie Langlois and Abraham Martin de Lacosis, and he be the Plains of Abraham. That's another name for where at the principal battle of Quebec took place, and they are named after Abraham. And the Plains of Abraham are just a short walk up from where La Habitation had been established. And La Habitation was that one sole building where our family first lived together in that empty room, probably not much bigger than the room I occupy here alone. Marie Magdalene Simard dit Lambret, sister of Marie Madeleine Simard dit Lambret, both the daughters of Madeleine Racine, child bride age 15. Marie Magdalene Simard dit Lambret was age 16 when she wed Pierre Tremblay, him 23. 2 years later, he married Marie Madeleine Roussin, who was 16. A few other names be hereby mentioned, but we shall not go much more into it. After all, I think that the value of these last few pages has been in our discussion together concerning the child brides, or that phenomena thereof. I think, no, we're not up to that spot where I was hoping. Okay, we'll talk about this page as well. I shan't try and show you. It's I changed my mind. I will try and show you. Good luck in reading it. What I'm hoping you see are that one blockchain relationship, and here be another one with Pierre Tremblay, but that is a generational blockchain relationship for different generations are appear in here to have been involved in similar relationships whereof the principal was first married or was later married again or married once more. It's not quite the same thing where you have in the relationship of Joseph Savard and Catherine Allaire, where other members of that bloc were also involved in duplicate or triplicate relationships. These are just principally your plain ordinary run-of-the-mill colonists. Outstanding, not much, except there are a few child brides mentioned. Genevieve Bouchard, age 14, married Michel Tremblay, age 24, 1686, Quebec. Marie-Françoise Guimond, daughter of Anne Père and Joseph Guimond, her age 16, married Joseph Lavoie, age 23, 1701, Beaupré. He was later married to Catherine Allaire, but many years later. He may have died or they separated, for within a year Catherine Allaire was again married to another man, Joseph Savard, on his second marriage. We'll look again with more detail at the other child brides remaining on this chart to discuss, and there be but few. Nicolas Roussin, the son of Jean Roussin and Madeleine Guiguer, age 27, married Madeleine Paradis, age 14, in 1667 at Quebec. Her be daughter of Barbe Guillon, age 15. And her husband Pierre Paradis, age 28, whom were wed 1632 in France. They may, I don't want to say much more on that, but it's principally a very, very important thing to talk about, because with this important family, we see here them wed in France, whereof they must have come to Canada together, and I have other charts and records that I don't have access to, which would clarify that for us now. The family of Guillon is definitely a Percheron family, according to this chart. At least the grandmother Marie Huet is. Another child bride that stands out, of course, is Madeleine Tremblay, the parents not listed. Her the second wife of Nicolas Roussin, who had previously married Madeleine Paradis. Well, look at it this way. Would you ever, if I had not mentioned it, thought of discussing the concept of the child bride phenomenon or blockchain relationships or serial marriages? All of these being very fundamental to the understanding of the simplistic understanding of the complex identity of we Canadians, we proud independent folk. We have been stripped of our heritage, even as we have been stripped of our land and our identity. I pray you awaken. Nine generations mentioned on this chart in relationship to the Girard name. And we see this family originates principally in Poitou, France, but that's just one root segment. There are a lot of first French family names mentioned, but we've discussed them all before. There'd be a few notes, but they aren't pertinent enough to delve into much deeper at this time, so we'll just trash them. Another example of such a chart. Even if you can't see this well enough to read it, you can see what I was trying to accommodate or to accomplish. And that is to explore a little bit how interwoven these roots truly are. If we were, say, to be discussing our anatomy as an individual, we would have to pay attention to which of those roots ran away from the heart, as did arteries, where they went, and which was associated with the liver that cleans our blood. These serial marriages, not so much, but these blockchain relationships, especially when they are generational, form or have a tendency to have that capacity to form principally organs in or within, or that constrain us too, in so much as being what they are. If, say, we were to think of ourselves as such a being, such an individual creature, rather than as, say, legion, which is a lot of different voices in one body. None of them any damn good. None of them saying much in lieu of anything. Okay, here we're back to talking about Indian girls, and I know we all like that. This is page it's of the Henry family, and my mother's father's maternal bloodline is rooted in Louis Sautus. The wife here of François Lyonnais dit Donné, them the parents of Marie Donné dit Lyonnais, she the wife of Alexis Honor Ellery Henry, and them the parents of Euphrosine Alphonsine Henry. Alexis Honor Ellery Henry, the husband of Marie Donné de Lyonnais, the daughter of Sautus Louise, him be son of William Honor Ellery de Henry, the son of Alexander Henry the Elder and Julia Calcutt. And Alexander Henry the Elder, if you haven't looked him up yet online, maybe you should. William Honor Ellery de Henry was the husband, or the first husband, of Agathe Letendre de Batoche, the daughter of Josephte Corbeau. Corbeau is for her name for a crow woman. And Jean-Baptiste Letendre, the son of Jean-Baptiste Letendre and Madeleine Loiseau, a Quebecois family. Agathe Letendre de Batoche, our ancestress, married a second time to Joseph Page. Him born 1783, April 23 in Quebec. And them being the parents of Marie Page, the wife of the great hero and martyr Abraham Montour, son of Robert Bonhomme Montour and Marie Josephte Spence. The family of Jean-Baptiste Letendre and Josephte Corbeau stand out here, mentioned as part of those folk whom were related closely to the settlements of the Caragon-Salier peoples. And that was an exciting chart to share together. Another nice linen page. It has what's called a watermark on it. It will long outlast other pages. Leave a piece of paper in direct sunlight for a while and see what happens. That's right, it gets dry and crispy. The longer you leave it there, the drier and more crispy it gets, unless it's got a rag content or a linen content. We'll call this a brick. This brick is based upon Fille de Roy Leonarde Genest, born about 1651 at Saint Leonarde de Corbeau of Bourgeois, France. Her dies 1728, November 3rd, age 77, La Visitation de l'Île du Pas, Berthier, Quebec. Having arrived in Quebec, 1669, June 30th, aboard Le Saint Jean-Baptiste, as a Fille de Roy. There's no mention here of what she brought with her. Viz. the King's Gift. Now, her first marriage be with Noel Cardin, a habitant. These are folk that lived outside the group of buildings known as the Township of Quebec. So the habitant didn't live directly in town, but were more expansive, let us say. Noel Cardin, the son of Nicolas Cardin and Marie Del Riviere, was born about 1645 in Trepagny-Our, France. He died 1671, age 26. Him having signed a contract for marriage with Leonarde Genest, Fille de Roy, 1669-1101, that contract of marriage. Rather, she be married 2 years later, 1671, November 16th, at Trois-Rivières, to Pierre Loiseau dit Francoeur, son of Francois Leclerc and Francois Loiseau. Pierre Loiseau dit Francoeur was a soldat. It does not say whether he be a Carignan or not. But they definitely be descendants of me. We see here that Pierre Loiseau dit Francoeur soldat died and was buried at Sorel in March 1717, age 80. So if he be a Carignan Chalier, he was no doubt with Compagnie, so excuse me. As the soldiers of the companies usually settled whereat their leaders established their principalities, you might put it. Here, the name Charles Venet dit Le Parisien, him a soldat of the Carignan Chalier with C. Loubet, is said to be married age 26 to Catherine Le Magnan, daughter of Pierre Bougeon and Jean Le Magnan in France, her 25, he married 1675. Him also involved in a blockchain relationship with Marguerite Dusson, Fille de Roy of France, whom was married as a child bride age 15 prior to Jean Vallée dit Petit Jean, whom was age 19 when they wed, him soldat de Cide Saint-Ours and a domestique de la Jésuite Père. We see here he was killed by the Iroquois, God bless his soul. And they be ancestors of mine. Their daughter, Francois La Rivière, their daughter, Francois La Vallée, the daughter of Marguerite Dusson and Jean Vallée dit Petit Jean, wed Marc-Antoine Huss, the brother of Louis Huss dit Paul, whom, age 29, wed child bride Marie-Angelique Niquette, her parents having been wed in Quebec, being colonists from France. The Huss name we will talk of at other times in greater detail. This page, we're going way off course in concordance to what we've been discussing so far, and as the hour is drawing closed, I'm not sure if we should get much into it. It's a list of the captains, of the elected captains of the 19 dizaines under Chef Métis Gabriel Dumont dans la Sud de Branche, in the stolen lands whence the Eastern powers pillaged the land and punished the French-speaking Quebecois descendants again, as most were strongly Roman Catholic, albeit there were amongst them many Protestants and others whom followed pagan First Nation traditions. We'll run through them. Headman of the Red Pheasant Band, William Wolfe did Lightfoot, is mentioned here above the name Chief of Ocamus Band Xavier Ocamus, the husband of Marie-Therese Gladue. Not called a captain. Captain Bernard Paul, the husband of Marie Gervais. Captain Jean-Baptiste Primeau, the husband of Rosalie Smith. Captain Jean-Baptiste de Vandel, the husband of Marie Primeau. Captain Jonas Moreau, the husband of Cecile Desjardins. Chief of the Prairie Ronde Métis, Charles Wapastrachier, the husband of Ursula Laframboise. Captain Albert Monkman, the husband of Marianne Morwick. Captain of Beardy's Band, Michel Trottier, the husband of Marie Marguerite Landry. Chief of the Muskeg Lake Band, 1900 to 1914, Jean-Baptiste Tachasso-Lafond, the husband of Josephte Mutakuma. Captain Antoine Lafontaine dit Failant, the husband of Marie Delorme. Captain Calixte Lafontaine, the husband of Louise Gervais. Captain James Timmis, little dog, Short, the husband of Mathilde McGillis. Headman of the Muskeg Lake Band, Isidore Wolfe. Captain Calixte Lafontaine, the husband of Louise Gervais. Captain Philippe Elzéar Garapi, the husband of Rosalie Parenteau. Captain Daniel Garapi, the husband of Adelaide Fegnant. Captain Patrice Joseph Fleury, the husband of Agathe Wilkie, sister of Madeleine Wilkie, the wife of Chef Métis Gabriel Dumont. Chef of Payasis Band La Biche, François Payasis Desjardins, the husband of Euphrosyne Auger. War Chief of the Métis at Cutknife Hill, Norbert Moncachy Frog Delorme, the husband of Charlotte Gervais. Captain of Turtleford Métis, Joseph Falcon Jobin, the husband of Henriette Bremer. Captain William Boyer, husband of Julienne Bousquet. Captain Flamand Corbeau. Captain William Fiddler Père, husband of Marguerite McGillis. My great-grandfather's direct ancestors. His great-grandparents. Captain Abraham Ballinger, husband of Philomene Delorme. Headman of One Arrow Band, Vital Dumont de Caol, husband of Adelaide Gagnon, Captain Isidore Dumont Fille, husband of Judith Parenteau, Adjutant General or Chef Métis Gabriel Dumont, husband of Madeleine Wilkie, and Captain of the Métis at Cutknife Hill, Andre Nin Naut Fille. God bless them all. May we live up to your example in these terrible times we are in and the dark days ahead of us. What say on that note we call it a night, eh? Our blessings, one and all. Grace and peace be with ye.